Hi, MacQueen.
Crystal, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
You hanging in there?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You in a basement? Looks like a basement situation with the timbers above your head.
You are seeing the backstory. So, you keep this under wraps here, MacQueen. This is actually my little shooting studio. So that's where all the stuff happens, but people don't usually see the rafters. So I got to get that. That's for the next renovation.
Oh, I love to see the magic, where the magic happens. Right? The wizard behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm. You are behind it. Right.
So how are you coping on a daily basis? I know you have kids at home, and you got a bunch of roles that you juggle. You're an artist and a creator and an educator and a parent. So do you have a daily schedule that you do, or how you cope on a personal level?
We're trying to stick to the same schedule. It just starts a little later, so we don't have to catch the school bus, right? So we get up a little later, around 7 or 8, and I have my quiet time. That's my spiritual time in the morning before I talk to anybody else, which I sometimes don't get to right in the morning, but I try to do it before I interact with other human beings, because it might make me a better human being. So then we would check in with Gabe's to see what to do for the, and then we check a little agenda. We've always had this in the book, so our schedule really isn't that different here. We just don't leave the house.
Right.
Really, what this is, a lot of what this pause has created for me is really even a more exaggerated understanding of my ridiculous sense of time. So I think, I say this a lot, that artists have a different chronology, right? So we have a different, like the now and the future and the past are kind of on one continuum a lot of times. And so I realized that when everyone went to online teaching, like, how do we teach dance online? What are we going to do? And 10 years ago, I created a training module that we used to sell as a DVD at shows. Like, because people would say, oh, wait, where can I take your class? And I would say, oh, well, we don't, but you can buy this DVD. You can do it in your house. You can figure it out, let me know if you have any questions. And so when this hit, I was able to just offer that digital archive to my colleagues who were just like, what do we do?
Are you teaching students online right now, like from Middlebury? Do you have classes?
Yeah, I have 2 classes. Well, my second class starts today because we do it in a rotation. So I pick up the last 4 weeks of the semester in this technique workshop rotation, which will be a training module that I developed to gauge the kids. And then I'm teaching a 360 class, which is more about, it's like advanced dance, but they're doing more of the making and the artist statements and really kind of digging deep, which is really great, because teaching online like this, it's, I could probably do this in a classroom, but it seems a little, when you're in a classroom, you want to push what's happening. So you have an agenda to the syllabus, like you're married to it. And so what I've been doing through Zoom with my students is giving them an insight into how my mind works, right? And so it's immediate. In terms of, I'm thinking about now with this new piece that I'm making, What We Ask of Flesh, I'm thinking about using this kind of online digital space to crowdsource ideas, right? Because
you need ideas? That's hard for me to believe, Crystal. You seem like an idea factory.
I am an idea. It's a problem, Steve. It's a problem. Oh, every gift has its weakness, I swear to God. So, it's like, we're gotta catch up with myself, which is why I think I'm doing so well in this pause, because it's really just giving me a chance to catch up with myself.
So it seems like a lot of people that I've been talking to, a couple of things I've noticed. One, people are struggling to turn this into an opportunity. You seem to have no issue with that at all. And the other one is, I've talked to a few artists who have said that like in theory, it seemed like the downtime would be a perfect time to like get really creative and start doing a lot of work. But instead they haven't felt compelled to do that work at all. They feel compelled more to be still and, you know, be thoughtful and not push themselves to do work, which doesn't seem like your process is at all either. But I wonder if you can understand that kind of push for stillness as opposed to constant
Yeah,
work.
the life coach in me is saying take what you have and bless it. And so if you're getting a pause, you got to bless the pause, not with the same energy or the same frequency that the pause is giving you, because the pause is may seem like a condition that's inflicted. So you feel like you need to respond or react to it. So, but when you get an influx of energy, and we know this from, you know, making art or making dance, like the inspiration of something is only the beginning. So the condition of this thing is only the beginning, right? So then you have to say, well, what is the question? What do I need to do with this pause? What is this pause for? How can this pause be beneficial? And this idea that you're saying that some artists are feeling very thoughtful that they need to be still, that could be the beginning, but it also is that same thing that you and I were just talking about people devaluing free. Because there are tons of artists who have wanted to be able to afford space and time. Now, this might not be the ideal space that they're in, right? But it is the time. And what they do with that space becomes the constriction that creates the discipline for the birthing of something else.
Do you have any thoughts on how different things look when we get out of this in terms of like what you do, in terms of an artist, educator, entrepreneur, et cetera?
Yeah.
Eric,
Yeah.
how does it all look different on the other side?
Parenting part looks different because I think on the other side of this, people actually know their kids better. And they're not they're not talking at them, hopefully. And hopefully they're listening better.
Right.
And when they're talking to the people who interact with their children, like educators, they're having a more realistic conversation. Because before, I think, you know, as an educator, I usually go into parent-teacher conferences pretty humble. Like, you know, I know my kid is probably being somebody else totally different with you because I see other people's children. But I think for a lot of parents who are not educators, the idea that someone would know more about their child than them has always been unfathomable, right? And now that they are spending that time with their child, especially in a learning conversation, in a conversation that they are not the expert at, this is not about power, this is about technique and skill and understanding, that we're going to come out of this seeing our children from a student perspective, which is going to open up our ideas about what they're capable of. It's going to recalibrate our goals for them that we have that they might not have for themselves, right? It's going to do a lot in terms of that parenting conversation. And it's going to give a deeper respect to the people who do work with them every day. And so that conversation between parents and teachers, I think, will change exponentially.
And for the better, right?
Yeah,
For the
exactly.
better. That's awesome. Oh, it's so nice to talk to Christal Brown this morning. This is great. What's next? What I need.
From the artist perspective, I have to say, Steve, you know, I have always been very clear, I think, with most people that my artistry is a byproduct of how I love people, right? Like, bottom line, I don't make dances to make dances. I make dances when I feel like I have something to say that I think I can't get out any other way. And that's the biggest group of people who are going to feel it. So for me, the artistry is really about, at this point, translating a lot of that love and care for people into this coaching practice, which allows me to reach a whole different sector of people. There have been many people, you know, in my performance career or wherever, my teaching career, who have thought that they couldn't get close to me because they can't dance. Right. And that has been like the biggest barrier for me for a long time. And I'm just like, who cares if you can dance? I don't care. Like, come on, let's have a conversation. Like, what can I do what can we do together? And I think this has really given me a skill set that's allowed me to then talk and communicate and be with people on an intimate level, whether we're moving or not. Right. And so that's big for me. And then it's feeding its way back into the artistry, because then it makes me question and challenge my notions of choreography in general. Like, what have I been doing that it's like, it's might be signature Christal Brown, but is it speaking to the art? Am I open now that I've hit this a certain level in my career? Am I afraid to change the recipe of my fries like McDonald's? Like, because I'm afraid no one's going to like it. Like, what is this time really going to do for me in terms of reimagining, reinvestigating, and passing that precipice or that paradigm of fear in my art making that people might not like it if it doesn't look like Christal?
So you're looking forward to the day when you get to break out some dances in front of people again?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in their reaction at this point, because I think what's happened in this pandemic, in this pause, is either going to force people to crave human interaction or to have to reinvent how they interact.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, I mean, I think artists and dancers specifically are well primed to teach people how to be human in that space of connection, in that space of touch, in that space of conversation. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting for people to sit together, one, and watch other people on display, because that's really, I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's the dance, right?
Sure, it's performance.
Right, it's like a movie. It's performance. It's a moving museum, and I think people will have a different respect for what it means to perform, because people are doing this digital performance every day.
Yes.
Right. And they're either holding back or fully engaging. And I think that's going to, when they see live performance again, I think it's going to either bring up a lot of kinesthetic confusion.
Yes, I've been 2D for so long. Absolutely. Right, depth in space. What is that? That is
exactly. I think it's going to bring up a lot of kinesthetic confusion, and with that, there's going to be a lot of parasympathetic responses, like feelings, and like people are going to maybe value that interaction a little more. I hope so.
I hope so too. I will be delighted not to look at my face so often. These Zoom things are killing me. Just having to like not look at my face. I've never looked at my face more in my entire life. I was young and pretty once, and every time I look at me now, I'm like,
amazing. You look amazing.
90 years old, man.
I took my hair down just because I knew your hair was gonna look good.
No, I'm glad I could be an inspiration. Hey, this has been so tremendous. I just want to say thank you for taking the time and talking to me. I will let you get back to your whatever day, Wednesday? I think we're on Wednesday now.
Hump day.
Hump day to whatever we're over the hump towards, I don't know. Yep. But I really appreciate it. It's been like always great talking to you. Just like philosophical and inspirational and delightful. So thanks so much for taking the time.